What's going on, smart people? Welcome to the weekly vlog. Have not missed a week yet, except for last week and the week before that, and maybe the week before that, I don't remember. It's been very grad school lately. That's the best way to put it. I'm surprised I've been able to upload it all. For those of you who are new, I start these videos off on Tuesday. I say most of you who are new because that's almost the majority at this point. I've gained something like 24,000 subscribers in the past 28 days, which is insane for me. So welcome, by the way. But I start these videos off on Tuesday because Mondays are very hectic in a very boring way, in between like going to classes and then these TA meetings and tutoring and teaching and other things that I'm forgetting. It would just be a very boring start to the vlog with the whole, alright guys, alright, gotta go. So we start these off on Tuesday. Now today for the agenda, I already got back from statistical mechanics. I'm always in and out on Tuesdays, which finally allows me to have this little back and forth with the camera in a not very awkward way. So I'm home now and I can get started on my quantum mechanics homework that is due tomorrow. And I also need to work on uploading this video on the energy momentum tensor that was supposed to go up last week, but reasons. The reason the video on the field strength tensor is going up so late is because I tried to record the audio directly into my phone using this lapel mic and my phone deleted it. So I tried to record it again. It deleted it, but the second time I was not an idiot and used the microphone that I have for my actual camera. So that was salvageable, and that's what's being uploaded right now. It's got about an hour left. In the meantime, I'm going to be working on this quantum mechanics homework, which is just on time-dependent perturbation theory. Quantum hasn't been too bad this semester. Since I'm taking the course in quantum field theory, it's like everything we're doing in quantum is just, it's like, it just feels like baby stuff, because then in field theory we're doing it with path integrals, and it's like breaking an egg with a sledgehammer. So later in the vlog I will probably talk about exciting things about field theory that we're getting into and more exciting things in general that I'm starting to be able to do. But for now I need to finish up this quantum homework, that way I can actually talk about it later. So I might just see you tomorrow. It is Wednesday. It's like 10 minutes until quantum starts, about to turn in my second to last homework of the semester, and then we'll probably get our last homework of the semester, which should be on scattering theory, and then we'll see what everyone else has going on for the day. What do you got going on for the rest of the week?
For the rest of the week?
Yeah, tell me your exact schedule.
I need to finish the quantum homework right now.
Yeah, what are you on?
Third one.
Oh yeah, that one was the toughest.
Yeah, so I need to just finish it, and then yeah, luckily we don't have computational physics tomorrow.
I guess before we get to that, now I need to start working on this research project.
Wow, all the best. What are you working on?
Calculating matrix elements. I guess I should stop having it just on you, right? Calculating matrix elements of the energy momentum tensor for a given Lagrangian.
That's good.
Lagrangians in terms of like nucleon fields and quark fields.
Yes.
No gauge fields though.
Oh.
So it's easier.
Yeah.
I think he called it a toy model. Rico dyed his hair. Doesn't he look adorable? Now that I'm home, I should probably talk a little bit about this research project that I finally have in grad school. My first research project of grad school. Basically, over the summer, I will be tasked with calculating matrix elements of something called the energy momentum tensor, which I will talk about in detail in future videos, so stay tuned. This isn't going to be that type of thing. But it really stems from this one thing called Noether's theorem. Probably just butchered a last name. I'm sorry. But it says effectively if something has a certain type of symmetry, namely a continuous global symmetry, sometimes promoted to local and things like general relativity, but that's besides the point. But if it has this type of symmetry, something is conserved. And in our case, where we have transformations that are space-time translations, and we have a symmetry of that, the thing that is conserved is the energy momentum tensor. So my job for this semester, or for the summer rather, is to calculate its matrix elements. So we have like particles, and I want to take matrix elements with different momenta. And the way that I do that is I'm given this Lagrangian, which you may have seen in classical mechanics, but Lagrangians also pop up in quantum field theory a lot, actually. The Lagrangian itself is kind of useless unless you have like a renormalization scheme, as I'm coming to learn. But yeah, we have a Lagrangian, I have the energy momentum tensor, now I just have to take its matrix elements. And what's cool is my advisors work kind of in the perturbative side of quantum chromodynamics, and my professor for quantum field theory is Lattice, and they tackle problems in very different ways. One does the canonical quantization approach, and then the other does path integrals. Namely, the Lattice does path integrals. But the cool thing about this problem is I should be able to do this using the path integral. So I should be able to solve an actual real problem in physics using what I'm learning in school. So that's pretty exciting. This is going to be really interesting though, because throughout this whole quantum field theory course, we did, Grassmann variables, path integrals for fermions, perturbative expansion. So now it's like, do I know how to put it all together and solve a real problem? So that'll be interesting to find out, because that's definitely more of my quote-unquote strength is path integrals. But I know I'd be able to ask more questions probably to my advisors since they're perturbative. If I do it the canonical way, it would just be a steeper learning curve. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting to see how it all turns out. I mean, obviously, my advisors also know the path integral approach to quantum field theory. It's just, if they're working in perturbative QCD, off the top of their head, they're probably thinking in terms of like field operators and things like that, and the canonical quantization approach rather than path integrals. So it's like a quicker return on questions would be if I were to just try to learn the canonical way and do this that way they could answer my questions very quickly, or do I put what I've been learning to the test, but then it's like scarier if I end up not being able to. I don't know. I am an idiot and totally forgot to bring my camera to school today, so I think I decided that this video is actually going to be just take place over the next 2 weeks. That way it's not just, because nothing really has happened so far. I started on Tuesday, it was kind of a boring day or whatever, so yeah, I think I'll stretch this video out a little bit more. That way it's more enjoyable to watch. But in the meantime, I'm about to record like the more funny video of the week, which always comes out on Thursdays. It's going to be a little skit video. I hope people like it. So first step, I guess, is got to erase the whiteboard. This Friday is actually going to be quite a bit more busy than the normal ones, because normally I get to come onto campus at like 10:30 in the morning. That's when I teach lab. Right now I'm on campus and it's 8:45. We have a TA meeting because this next Monday they're doing makeup labs, so all the students that had to miss a class or whatever have the opportunity to make one up, and then I have to actually TA for my lab. And then there's a large gap of time in between when I get out of lab, which is probably going to be close to 1, and then 5 o'clock when I have a meeting to talk about this little kind of physics summer camp thing that I'll be giving lectures for that should start in July. So I think we have to iron that stuff out a little bit, which we'll be doing at 5. And I think in the meantime, after lab, I'll probably start trying to calculate some stuff for my project, and then I'll go bug my advisor to see what he has to say. So it's gonna be a busy day, but should be a productive one. For now, it's just time for the TA meeting. So in this lab, they're doing like simple harmonic motion stuff. So we have these little carts that are attached to springs, and attached to this will be little force sensors. So they'll be able to, find out how much force is being applied, from which they'll be able to get things like the spring constant. And then we also have these little motion detectors, so we can get the kind of like the equations of motion for these little cards. So it's all about simple harmonic motion. It shouldn't be too big of a lab. We also spent some time going over the schedule since the students have to have like a makeup lab. So we're gonna be doing that from 10:30 until 6 p.m. on Monday. That should be fun. So I'll be doing that from 3:30 to 6, as if my Mondays weren't long enough. But they should be getting here anytime now to get started on their lab. I don't know, maybe I'll try to grade something or something.
2 hours later.
Normally I'm really excited to get out of lab early. We got out like 30 minutes early today, but now I have like 4.5 hours to kill until my meeting. So I guess it's just me and some correlating functions until then. So the TA room, it's great. It's great. It's our own little space where we can work and not really be bothered too much. And we got our little cubicles and a little chalkboard. But I like to sneak off to this conference room because look at this chalkboard. I still filled it up. Now it is Saturday. Kelly's off taking one of her cumes. It's something that the astronomy students have to do. And while she's doing that, I will be, for the rest of the day, grading papers. Fun way to spend Saturdays, but it's kind of my fault. I just fell behind on grading. I haven't fallen behind on anything else, and the cost of that has been falling behind on grading, which is very easy to do because of how much shit these students have to do for this 1 credit lab. They have these things called RATs, which is like a pre-test. Then they do their lab. Then they have a CAT, which is like a post-lab test. Then they have homeworks, and they also have practicals. It's just all that stuff just piles up if you don't look at it for a couple weeks. This is my first time being a TA. It's my first semester TAing, so I really didn't know how much time things like grading really took up. And I kind of have it easy because I'm only teaching one lab. Most of the grad students have to teach two. And the reason I don't have to do two labs is because instead of doing a second lab, I'm instructing kind of like a supplemental course in mechanics. And there's no homework for that. For that, I just come up with kind of like a lesson plan and come up with problems for the students to solve. And then at the end, we solve them together. So they basically just have attendance. And that's also what's going to happen for me next semester. So I've been very lucky so far in being able to do these SIs instead of having to do two labs. I can't imagine how people keep up with this stuff if they have two labs to TA for. It's ridiculous. Now it is about 3 o'clock. I finished grading all of the stack of papers that I have at my house, but I remembered that I have even more on campus. So either today or tomorrow I'll probably make a trip over there to pick up the rest of the papers and finish up grading all together. It is Tuesday. It is almost stat mech time. We have our final homework of the semester due. I got a little bit lazy in that I solved one of the problems on the blackboard, so I just took a picture of the blackboard. But let's go to stat mech. It is the second to last class of the semester, for at least for stat mech.
Yeah.
Still have a couple hours before my meeting, but I'm gonna go get lunch with Kelly, and we're gonna go eat at Panda and have some pandas for lunch. Bye.
Bye.
I should probably keep track of what day it is as far as the vlog goes. Today is Tuesday. It's normally days that I make like my heavier math and physics video, which I'm planning on doing for the next video of tensor calculus, so super excited for it. But yet again, this stupid microphone is crapping out on me, and it's not the microphone's fault. I know, it's just everything that I plug it into because I can't do technology. Andrew, why do you want to be a theorist? Because I can't get microphones to work. That's why. I had this idea of plugging it into my laptop and streaming the audio directly to that, but my laptop won't recognize it. Whole updating drivers things isn't working because I'm, I guess, a little bit of an idiot. So right now, I am in the process of I downloaded another app to record audio from. I'm doing a test run. I'm just going to let it record audio from the microphone for like half an hour to make sure it doesn't do what the last one did and just throw the audio away without me being able to even listen to it. So we'll see how that goes. Assuming that goes well, then I should be able to record the tensor calculus video tomorrow and upload it. And it should be like a one-taker, so it shouldn't be too bad. This is frustrating. Technology is so nice when it works. Only problem is it never works. I'm gonna go check the mail. Man, this has been an off day for me. I went and checked the mail. I actually got a package. I guess I forgot to hit record. I opened it with this, comically large knife. It was hilarious, but I guess that's gone forever now. But what I got in the mail was Introduction to Quantum Field Theory by Peskin and Schroeder. This is like the comprehensive book on quantum field theory. What Griffith's E&M is to undergraduate E&M, this is to graduate level quantum field theory. It was something I was going to have to get eventually. I got it knocked out now. This makes my third book on quantum field theory. I always think it's funny when it's this level. This is the graduate book for QFT, an introductory book. So it always makes me laugh when people call what they're doing advanced. It's like, if this is still introductory, what the hell does advanced mean? Especially when it's like an undergraduate lab or something like that. That always makes me, I always think that that's pretty funny. I'm telling myself I'd like to start going through this a little bit, maybe in the weekend. I don't know how realistic that is, considering finals start next week. Saying that out loud, there's no way I'm going through this over the weekend. I have my quantum final on Monday, stat mech not on Monday. That's what I'm going to start focusing on now. It's been a hectic week, so I might not be breaking into this anytime in the next week or so, but it's a full-fledged Dotson now. That's good. Over the next week, yesterday we had our makeup labs, and normally Mondays are busy in general. That's why I don't record on Mondays. Yesterday was particularly busy because lab had makeup sessions, so people who missed lab were able to make up one of them. So instead of being on campus from 9 until, 5 or 4? I was there until 6, which is a little bit crazier. But then for the rest of the week, we had homework for StatMech due today, got that knocked out. And then the last thing of the week is finals, lab finals for my students that is going to be on this Friday. So they have a practical and kind of like a multiple choice test that they have to take that'll be this Friday. We weren't given solutions, so I guess I also have to take the test myself just to, have the proper solutions. But I'm going to call it a day. Our hot water isn't working right now, so one of our friends is going to let us go over to their apartment to take a shower, which will be nice because I can't smell myself, but I feel like I look like I smell. Good night. Time for the last quantum. This is the last quantum of the semester.
Yeah.
You guys sad?
Not really.
It doesn't feel real for me because I still have QFT right after, so I feel like I still have one more quantum of the semester. Plus we have QFT during finals. So it's a little bit anticlimactic for me.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll be finishing up scattering. The final is Monday, and then Stat Mech is on Thursday.
Is it Thursday? Wow.
I think it's Thursday,
Pretty
right?
nice. I guess it'll get nice 3 days between.
Yeah, so we'll be able to study.
The qualifying exam.
Okay, let's get to it. What do you guys think is going to be the hardest thing on the quantum final?
Scattering theory.
I agree. I think that'll be pretty hard.
Time-dependent perturbation.
Really? I think the degenerate, non-time dependent.
Degenerate first order time independent. That will be tough as well.
Yeah, I think that could be more tough than the
Calculating
time
the matrix element.
dependent.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah, either scatter.
He's gonna ask degenerate.
Yeah.
Did he
First
say?
order degenerate time independent.
Did he say?
Yeah.
Come. All right, I'm gonna go get started on the homework since that's way longer than usual. I'm gonna go see if the conference room is open. The regular conference room is taken, so I had to sneak off to this computer lab, which will do just fine. I'm just doing quantum in here, not quantum field theory, so this littler chalkboard should be all that I need. I'm just working on our homework that is due 8 days from now. Our final's in 5 days, and the stuff that's on the homework will be on the final, so we all have to get it done before 8 days from now. I guess it's just when it's officially due. I don't know. But it's all in scattering theory. And scattering theory this is the main object of interest, the differential cross-section. Basically tells you what is the probability of a particle being scattered through some angle with some energy. And it's in terms of this thing called the scattering amplitude. And this is kind of painful to calculate because it depends on your potential, which means you have to know somehow what your potential is, which is fine for a class where they normally give you the potential, but in real life, how do you know that? And you also have to know what your wave function is, which again could be a problem to solve. But there's different approximative methods of finding out how to calculate this thing, like the firstborn approximation, which lets you make some assumptions about the wave function so it's one less problem to solve, and all you really need to care about is your potential. So that's more or less what this homework is on. You can also express this guy in terms of these phase shifts. So you have a scattering thing. You have a particle that's going through some potential and scattering out. And what these phase shifts do is they tell you how much that particle's, trajectory deviates from the free particle solution, how much its wave function is different from the free particle solution. So if it is no different, then this guy should be 0 because no scattering happened, right? So that's kind of a little bit of a way of looking at that. So for this homework, we're given some potentials, asked to find scattering amplitudes, cross-sections, total cross-sections, talk about phase shifts, and I don't know, I haven't really looked at it too much, but that's what I'm going to be doing until quantum field theory, which is in exactly an hour. Now I'm in the middle of actually calculating these little scattering amplitudes. So this is what an integral looks like for this type of problem. So we've got like a regular Gaussian times a sine dr. It looks kind of hard to integrate, but I think what I'm going to do is express this sine function as an exponential, and then I can complete the square in the exponential, then redefine variables, and then it'll just be like a new Gaussian integral. So I don't think this will be too bad, but we'll see. But now it's time for field theory, so I will probably finish this calculation up later. Maybe there's an easier way to do it than what I did. I'm always like, oh, did I do it the easy way or the hard way? Like maybe you can make some argument about an odd times an even function integrated that, I don't know, but this seems to be working, so that's good enough for me. I was so preoccupied talking to one of my professors about GR that I forgot that I had the tutor right now. So I am all home from school for the day. That means I can finally get to recording this video that should have been up yesterday, but It's always an audio problem, right? But it seems like the app I just downloaded yesterday is going to work. I recorded something for like half an hour yesterday just to see, like, it was just noise, but just to make sure that I could have it on my phone and then transfer it to my laptop. There were no issues there, so far so good. We'll see how it goes with this next video that should be on tensor calculus, so I'm gonna get to doing that now. The video is all recorded and edited, it's just rendering now. Right now it is it's 7:16, so I'm probably just gonna work on Quantum for a couple hours before I call it a day. Kelly and I have been watching Dragon Ball, and we're on episode like 280 something, so it's the very end of the Buu saga. This is her first time going through it, so we might try to finish that up tonight after I get some more work done. Yeah, it's been a long day, but it's been pretty productive. Good morning, fellow mathematicians. Right now it is 8:13 in the morning. I have lab final. I don't know how to say that. It's not my lab final, it's for my students, but it's at 10:30 and I think it's a couple hours long. Really, they can take as long as they need. I don't really have too much going on today. That's kind of BS because I really do. I'm going to be on campus all day, either doing this lab final or working on my last quantum assignment or working on some research, because I should be meeting with someone to talk about research later, probably around 5 today. So it should be a pretty busy day. Got about an hour until lab starts. I put out an email saying that everyone can come pick up their grades for all of their assignments throughout the week. No one has. This stack of grades is what I am talking about, so I think in the meantime, before the lab final, I'll probably sort these by name. That way I can just throw them at the students as soon as it starts. And then afterwards, I am just going to be working on quantum. If I could get this quantum assignment done today, that would be optimal. That way the rest of the weekend, I can just spend studying for my final, and that'll be great. That'll be perfect. I don't know how realistic that is because it looks like a long one, but we'll see how it goes. As soon as I finish grading all of this stuff for lab, now there's this stuff. So the final is over. Now I'm going to be putting that off for a little bit and go work on quantum homework. And I think the conference room is open. Turns out that integral I was talking about with the Gaussian times the sine is not as straightforward as I thought it was, because I didn't think about the limits of integration changing. So yeah, something seems complex about this. I feel like I'm not sure how to go about it. I completed the square, but now the lower bound of the integral is different. It's not just 0 to infinity anymore, and I'm not sure how to handle that. So maybe I'll read the problem again to see if I can just Taylor expand the sine of x. I don't know. Or maybe I'll just go ask my professor. Hopefully he's here. So I went and spoke with my professor, and yeah, this integral is not straightforward like that to integrate. It's mainly a really hard problem to solve because I wrote it down wrong. There's supposed to be an r there, and then it becomes a lot easier. Whoops. We figured out the integral. I say we because I'm joined here with Mr. Egan.
Hi.
Put you in focus. That was a longer problem than I thought that it would be, but now I'm about to go meet to talk about research for a little bit and then call it a day. It is done for the day and done for the video. I'm going to call the vlog here. Who knows how cohesive it's going to be at the end. It's been a long day, but it's done. You want to say goodbye to the camera?
Bye.
Bye. Andrew popped in. Say bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.